All right, it's half time. You're welcome back to the Aviva Fan Studio here at the G Hotel in Galway. Everybody's very excited and riveted after a bit of a first half. They're not quite sure what to make of, but Ireland lead by 9 points to 3. Tommy, it's been hard to get a proper steer on what's going on, but not the fireworks that we got in the first game, anyway.
No, certainly not. It's been pretty brutal, to be honest with you. Ireland are taking France on. They're trying to get up over the gain line. And they're going well, but when they get the ball out wide, when they're able to create space out wide, they're looking dangerous. I think I'd be just a little bit worried that they keep trying to take France on up front, and you know they're such big guys they're up against there. John will know more, but I think any time we get it wide, there is space there. We're looking dangerous. Yeah,
we tried to mix it up maybe a bit more. We can get into some of the talking points in a second, Jenny, but early on we probably showed a bit more ambition to mix it up, and then maybe laterally when France started to come into a bit more, we seemed to kind of narrow things down a bit.
Yeah, like in the first few occasions, we were definitely using Aki to hit into that 10 channel, and then off set piece in particular, we were, using those nice loops or, spots behind the back with the tight five and sending it out. So getting Keith Earls and Stockdale on the ball, and it was showing good dividends. We were making gain lines, and as the game progressed, we seemed to be kind of narrowing it up a little bit, and maybe those one-off runners or that first receiver just hitting it up and carrying it, and that's great, but we're already down one loose forward, and for Dan Levy to come on in the second half and give a bit of extra energy would have been great, but now he's already on, so that's going to be fatigue and it's going to be a lot of work, and it's not. You can't keep doing that. It's too tiring.
Yeah. All right. Keep your questions coming in, by the way. We've got some great ones that we're going to put to the lads very shortly. Hashtag Aviva Fan Studio, or leave a comment here on the Facebook page as well. We've got a great prize, by the way, as well for the best comment that comes in. You're going to come and join us for the Ireland-Italy game next week at the Aviva Fan Studio at the Aviva Stadium. So keep those coming in. We're going to have questions from the crowd as well and all that good stuff to come. A couple of surprises to bring you before we leave you at half-time. John, breakdown at the breakdown is how we've worded this. France have been pretty aggressive.
Yeah, as it's been put already, the big thing that Ireland are trying to do is trying to get go-forward ball close to the breakdown, get our big ball players and to get us to go forward, and we've struggled to do that. We saw a couple of occasions where the ball carrier has ended up on his back. We used to call it turtling in Connacht a few years ago, because you're like a turtle on your back, and when you're on your back, you're no good. Basically, Joe's one of his big philosophies is that once you hit the ground, that you do extra work. And we saw it at the very end there. James Ryan got tackled and he rolled once or twice and got the ball away. The reality is we're not winning the breakdown. The amount of turnovers we've conceded is bad, but more importantly, how slow the ball is killing us. They're putting numbers into the ruck. They're slowing our ball down, and we can't get go-forward ball. What you want to see is Conor Murray coming in and flashing that ball straight away. The reality is he's holding, waiting for the ball, and it's drawing in more of our numbers into the ruck, which means we don't have attacking threats. So basically what we need to do is we need to get Stander, Henderson, our big ball carriers on the ball, and we need to get them go forward, and we need it quick. That then allows our loop plays and allows us to get wide. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get in there, but we're not getting any success. So
in terms of that fix, can he fix it now at half-time? Can he identify that?
That'll be the main, like we have it here, that will 100% be the main point. Ball carriers got to go forward, got to get lower, and more importantly, the first man in has got to win that space. By what I mean is win that space, win the space over the ball. At the moment, the French are the ones who are winning the space, and they're slowing down our ball, which is having a detrimental effect. I said it to you there a couple of minutes ago. You can see the crowd are playing a part now as well. French are getting their tails up a little bit. The crowd is getting louder. They're starting to get quicker off the line in D, which again is down to our breakdown not being quick enough. And that's what we don't want. We don't want them to get their dander up and get their belief up. And if we can just quicken up the ball, quicken up that breakdown, I think that'll give us a good starting point in the second half.
Jenny mentioned the obviously injury from the Irish point of view, Tommy, but from the French point of view, yet another young out half on. Now again, this guy lasted 30 minutes. He got a couple of hits from Bundy, and then ultimately it was a bit of an innocuous one enough that ended up with him having to leave the pitch. But a bit of a break in their momentum almost from that point of view as well.
Yeah, he looked good as well. I think he made a nice little went on the outside of Sexton, got the pass away to Vakatawa, kicked it into touch, and then when he was chasing through, thankfully Carney was able to get across on that kick. So he looked like he was pretty quick, looked pretty fast. I'd say he'll be disappointed, obviously, this, and he took a knock on the knee. It was pretty innocuous, but it looked pretty sore. I doubt we'll see him again in the game. So the new out half that's come on is, again, he's only 20, 21, very young, but he is, I would probably see him as a better talent. Right. He played in the Autumn Internationals for France, and he was pretty hot stuff. So I think, unfortunately, it'll probably be a better thing for France. I think he's a little bit more stable. He's used to those big pressure games he played against the All Blacks. So hopefully Ireland can rattle him early on. Listen, it's a case of Ireland, if they can just get that breakdown faster, if they can keep putting the ball in behind. I think any time Ireland get a quick breakdown, put the ball on top of their back three, it's working every time. I would say we'll see. It's not very exciting to watch, but I'd say we'll see a lot more of it second half.
I wonder from both of you if we should see a bit more of this sort of high ball target in that French 15. He's dropped a couple. As you say, conversely, from an Irish point of view, Carney's been pretty solid. But what do you think, Jenny? Maybe a bit more up and under here.
Yeah, I think as Tommy mentioned, it's been working for us. As well as that, we were chatting earlier, and we were saying that the French are like overfolding at times and getting us used to playing one way, or we're playing such like narrow rugby that now get them used to that. Maybe for a start of the second half, we'll go in and then just suddenly change it up, go back on snap it back to the blind side, and see where we go from there. But yeah, I'd like to see Carney and Earls get under a few more of those balls. I think it will pay off.
The Stockdale and Earls particularly linked up very well early on, and looks like again, we've kind of gone into our shells a small bit since those early minutes.
I think, in fairness, I think at the very start there were one or two set plays that we got straight off the bat. Great line out off the top. There were like 3 phase plays that we were able to. We knew exactly as the game, first half has gone on. The line-out ball is not being as, it's been tap backs to where you can see Henshaw dropping back to the short side, getting ready for a play, and all of a sudden they don't get through the phases to get it. Same with Earls a couple of times as well. So I think they are trying to hit up in the midfield and then sweep back to the short side. But unfortunately, the set piece is under a little bit of pressure, so they're not getting the kind of set piece ball that they need.
Okay. And the scrum's is starting to creak a small bit. I was saying to Tommy, James Ryan, who's having a good game, he's working extremely hard and a lot of carries. He probably still physically isn't where he'd want to be. Like, he's only 21, 22. It's going to take him a few years, but
beef out a bit.
He's going to beef out, and it's going to improve him. He's had a good start to the game, but it's going to tell as well on the scrum. We've had a couple of creaky scrums, and we got away with a penalty and a free kick or two. But I'd say the French will be having a little chat in their little micro groups at half time, saying let's get into their line out, let's get into their maul, and they'll be wanting to keep the breakdown as slow as it has been in the first half. And if they do that, they can really upset us going forward. All
right, a couple of comments to get to. We're going to get to this last one here. Pretty obvious, talking about really how the hell we're going to win this thing in the second half. Some good comments coming in on hashtag Aviva Fan Studio. Keep them coming in, and on the Facebook page as well. Tommy, I'm going to throw this one at you first. It's pretty straightforward. You're okay. You're on safe ground.
Who knows what?
You're on safe ground for now.
Right.
Dermot Hessian on Twitter for Tommy. Does Joe Schmidt do much talking at half time?
Yes, he does. Yeah, Joe. I think it's very well structured. But Joe, of course, will come in. He'll give kind of a brief to the whole squad. Himself and Andy Farrell will give, literally a couple of minutes each of 2 or 3 things that they want to work on, and then we'll split, as John said earlier, into kind of mini groups or forwards and backs. Joe would generally come over to the backs and kind of talk about a few plays, but yeah, he would control everything in there.
And I presume it's all very sort of, there isn't the shouting and roaring thing that.
Oh,
pretty
no.
Is there, right? Is there?
The Joe you see on the TV might not be the Joe you see.
You mean that lovely guy that we all?
No.
Wow.
Listen, he's not the brilliant coach that he is. For being able to, he can pick and choose when he needs to shout and roar. And I tell you, I'd say at the minute he's given them a bit of an earful, because I think they need, at the minute they're going well, but to win in France, you need that bit more. And I think this second half, they're really going to have to ramp it up, because if they're going to try and go toe-to-toe with France up front, it's going to be a tough second half.
Yeah. All right. A couple of others here. Willie Brennan on Twitter. Healy having a great game. France just keeping it tight and riding out the storm for as long as possible. Intriguing game. Willie, the purist Brennan, I'm sure, is his...
Yeah, look, it's a typical first game. Let's forget about the Welsh and Scottish game for a minute. It's a typical game. Me and Jenny were trying to figure out what that old saying is about the ambition to go out there to play is kind of been thrown out the window. It's the fear of losing is a really thing that seems to be the thing going forward from here, and it'll be the same in the second half. I don't think there'll be a huge change in what the play is going to be. I think both teams would want to win. So Ireland are ahead on the scoreboard, so I can't see them changing an awful lot.
Does the fear of losing almost, like, what impact does that have here? Because that can tie you up pretty quickly.
I don't think they'll change an awful lot. I don't think they're going to come out and start saying, right, let's throw the ball wide and have a go. I think obviously the first 10 minutes again, Ireland will try and get a score or two, but they won't be... I don't think they'll be showing huge ambition to go wide or to change up the game plan. They'll be trying to just stick in there and make a few errors, and hopeful that they'll be able to get a little bit better ball and give their opportunities out wide a little bit more.
I think the experience as well of Best, Stander, Murray and Sexton will come in massively in the second half as well. I think, coming up against a young out half and stuff, I think this is where an experience comes with a tight game like this, first game of the championship.
Territory will be huge in this time. Yeah, first 10 minutes.
Tony McGahan on Twitter says, you know nothing, Ireland to win 54-0. It can't be nil now, obviously. No, it's not that Tony McGahan, by the way.
Tony's been on the old points, I think.
I had a look. Tommy, we do have a bit of a surprise for you out in the crowd, which you're not aware of, and I can tell by your face you're definitely not aware of it. But Tommy, we'd like you to meet Tommy.
How are you, Tommy?
Round of applause there for Tommy. Tommy Bowe, how do you think it's going at half-time?
Well, I suppose from my point of view, I would have said to the lads, to go out and enjoy the game and that. Look, I suppose I'm retiring, this year. And look, I would have said, to the players and that, I am going to have to reduce their discount on the XV Kings down to 10%. So, look, I suppose, some discount is better than no discount, So, to be honest, look at the real reason I would have retired this year is to go back playing with Monaghan next year. And I can tell you, if I can get the lads over the line next year to, maybe to get to an Ulster final or up to Croke Park even to a semi-final or a final or whatever, I can tell you
Tommy, the one thing you do have absolutely, nailed the voice, obviously.
Yeah.
The one thing you definitely have in common
as well.
Well, I don't know about that. It remains to be seen, I suppose.
The one thing you definitely have in common with Tommy Bowe is you don't have shite on. Aidan Tierney, thanks a million. Aidan Tierney, everybody.
Cheers.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Can he sing as well as you, Tommy?
Let's try him out.
What about Arise?
Right, very briefly, because I think we're second half about to get away very shortly. Maybe not too deep on how we're going to win it, but 9-3 up at half-time, we're going to see it out?
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah, I think the experience, again, as I said, 9 and 10. I think we'll put the ball into the corners, put it behind the big forwards, get them moving. I think we'll see it out.
Jenny?
Yeah, I think Sexton's boot is key in the second half. And we're 6 points up half-time away in France. That's not a bad position to be in.
Yeah, the big thing is if we stop their line out and their scrum, and we talk about territory. I'm a forward, I have to talk about these things. If we stop them and we don't creak there anymore, we'll be fine.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right, I didn't mention to you either that the John Muldoon fan club have turned up today.
Oh.
There's two founding members over here. Ní Addy-Locan and Peter McCabe.
Can't see
They're shying away in the corner over there. Right, Ireland leading by 9 points to 3. Let's see if we can get the job done in the second half. What do we think, everybody? Good positivity. We're here at the Aviva Fan Studio, live from Galway. Get in touch with the hashtag Aviva Fan Studio, the opportunity to come and join us next week for Ireland versus Italy. But for the minute, from the Aviva Fan Studio, come on Ireland! Woo-hoo.